the guest of the night, the guy we've been trying to hype up, Mr. Shaggy Shane Williams.
Shaggy.
OG in the house. Shaggy, what's going on, brother?
Man, it couldn't be better. It couldn't be better. Late July, summertime, feeling good. Football is in the air. Listen to the spoken pod. Hell yeah, man.
That's right, bro.
It's all good in the hood.
Well, we're glad to
How
have
you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. We were actually in the opening monologue. I talked to the viewing audience, and I said it's crazy that you're one of my best friends and a guy I look up to often. And it's funny that even though we do the show on a weekly basis, somehow, some way, we have not had you on since the Super Bowl took place. And it's
Friday night, January 31st.
See, I knew he knew the date.
The beautiful mind. It's a beautiful mind. I swear.
It was me and Clay Whittler in Pat Clifton's basement.
Yeah. I bet he could tell me.
It's about 73 degrees.
I bet Shane could tell me which hospital room I was born in Olathe Medical Center, and like what the time was. I don't even know what the time was, but I bet he can narrow it down.
I was 18 years old. Go ahead.
Shaggy, you've been a lifelong and loyal Chiefs fan through damn near every heartbreaking loss this franchise has suffered, yet you've always seemed to keep at least a little bit of optimism going into the next season. Well, this time you don't have to worry about how much optimism you have going into the next season because for the first time in your life, you're a fan of the defending champs. Shaggy, we haven't had you on the show, again, like I said, since episode 49, in which we all know was the last episode until the Chiefs won that Super Bowl. I realize life has been weird as hell and since essentially that Sunday, but if you could recollect on that day for us, those moments in time, and tell us what that day was and how much it meant to you as an OG Chiefs fan.
Actually, it was pretty peaceful. If you go back and watch the Shaggy Shane show after we won the Super Bowl, it was hard to fight back the tears. There were some tears. But actually, my daughter Tabitha, who I was watching the game with, who was really raising a lot more hell than me. And, in one hand, I was super proud of her. And in the other hand, I felt like I scarred her for my past demons of raising hell. But for the most part, watching the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl was freaking surreal. But then again, it wasn't. Because we knew when the Kansas City Chiefs drafted Patrick freaking Mahomes, April 27th, 2017, we knew that it was just a matter of time. Only thing we had to get over was Andy Reid's loyalty to Bob Sutton. Once we kicked that to the curb after the AFC Championship loss and put Steve Spagnuolo in line for the defensive coordinator spot, and he got Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, Lance, to answer your question directly, when I watched that Super Bowl, it felt pretty damn good. And then when Patrick Levon Mahomes made the WASP call on 3rd and 15,
yes, sir,
I knew we were coming back. It was fucking killer. Excuse my language.
No, said it all night long, man. That's what we do here. There's no FCC violations over here in the Kansas City Podcast Network. So,
yeah.
So, Shaggy, coming into the 2020 season, the Chiefs were expected to bring back 91% of their starting lineup. Something a defending Super Bowl champion hasn't done since the 2004 Patriots. And since last Friday, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif and Damian Williams have decided to opt out of the 2020 season. To me, these are legitimate losses, but I do not believe they are losses that destroy or even deplete the running back potential, nor do I believe they signify as a foreshadow of worse things to come when it comes to the potential of a 2020 season. But we've seen you have a little bit of different of an opinion on this matter, and you're a little bit on the different side of this. Shaggy, what do these two players opting out mean to you?
First off, let me say I understand why they are both opting out. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif is a doctor. He's a med. He's taking care of patients. He's seen firsthand the struggle in Canada, this entire issue. So I totally understand, respect, and give mad praise to Tardif. Damian Williams, the same thing. His mom has got stage 4 cancer, and if he brought home, and he's taking care of her, Damian Williams is taking care of his mom who has stage 4 cancer, and if he comes home with the virus, we all know what could possibly happen quickly. He doesn't want to do it. I don't blame either one. As far as a loss, I think Rankins and Martin Rankins and Nick Allegretti, don't forget about that 6th-round draft pick last year. are going to be bodies that are going to be worked in to training camp at Arrowhead this August. I like them. I like how they can develop into guards. Yes, they got Usimile, but he was a left guard. Is he going to play right guard? So that's not really much concern is Damian Williams. Damian Williams is a pro's pro, man. Damian Williams came to the Chiefs after he left the Miami Dolphins, and he was third string behind Kareem Hunt and Spencer Ware in 2018. Damian Williams, when he's pressed into the starting spot, delivered. And on the biggest stage in the biggest games from last year's postseason to this year's postseason, we cannot watch a Chiefs highlight and be happy.
Yep.
We can be happy, but we can also see that Damian Williams made a key catch. Damian Williams had a big run. Damian Williams had a big block. That 4-yard pass down to the freaking 10-yard line to Sammy Watkins that put us in position for Damian Williams to eventually score the winning touchdown. Damian Williams made a monster block on the blitzing safety coming in from the left and kept Patrick's freaking blindside safe so we could freaking throw it to Sammy Watkins. Oh, my God. Damian Williams is that guy. I know people might think this is apples to oranges, but he's the 8th inning pitcher in the Major League Baseball. He's the guy. He's not the 7th inning guy. He's not the closer. He's not the starter. But when you need 3 outs in the 8th inning, that Damian Williams is going to get it. I know 8th inning and 3 hours of football is an entirely different thing, but he's there. He's a pro's pro. He doesn't make the mistakes. He's a guy that delivers. And his 10 touchdowns in the playoffs, man, is a Chiefs record that will probably never be broken.
You know, I like to think that I came up with the nickname Veach season when it comes to the Chiefs general manager, Brett Veach. Shaggy, your guy Veach has absolutely dominated and owned the last 2 off seasons. And you were one of the first to really place your faith in the young executive. Now, I obviously know that you want to and will give him his deserved run and praise. But is there anything that you'd like to see Veach do better, or do more?
No, hell no. Veach is freaking kicking ass, baby. He's freaking, dude. I hope he's here as long as Carl Peterson, which is 20 years. Yeah. I hope he stays. Veach is what he's done with the salary cap. We all thought Chris Jones was gone. I'm not going to pretend to say, I knew that would happen. No, we didn't. We thought Chris Jones. I thought in spring that Chris Jones would be traded for a first and a third round draft pick, similar to what Jared Allen was traded for 12 years ago in April. So I felt like it wasn't going to happen with Chris Jones. But Patrick, you guys have said that, and I've said that last week on my show with Fidel, that Patrick extended his contract to make it open up enough to re-sign Chris Jones. And, you can give Brett Veach a lot of credit, but we got to give Patrick a lot of credit for, making his contract work to bring in Chris Jones. As to the running back situation, I want to say what concerns me now on the depth chart is we have Dwayne Washington. Is that his name?
DeAndre Washington. DeAndre Washington.
DeAndre Washington, Darwin Thompson, and Darrell Williams. Besides our number 1 draft pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, what I'm going to want to see or hear coming out of training camp at Arrowhead is who's going to be the number 1 running back. We all know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be the man. We all know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be a beast. His stats, his highlights, Patrick giving Veach the elbow in the back to draft him last April shows that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be the man. And I just felt about Damian Williams, I know I'm going back to a previous question, but I felt it's something that needs to be said, Lance, is that Damian Williams is the perfect running back to mentor Clyde for maybe the first 4-5 weeks before Clyde gets the brunt of the carries. I know we're not getting a preseason game, and we're not getting any preseason, so I feel that, damn, man, Clyde's going to have a lot to learn before September 10th. So that's why I feel like who's going to be the number 1 running back come September 10th? Are we going to go with an experienced guy? Are we going to go with Washington, who couldn't even stay on the Raiders, but he played with Patrick at Tech? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the running back situation come September 10th.
I began last week's episode with something I had felt and believed since the clock struck 0 in the 4th quarter of Super Bowl 54. The Chiefs were widely viewed as this fun team with a ton of winning potential, and in very short time, thanks to Patrick Mahomes, they went from that to a legitimate Super Bowl worthy team. And now that they've given that 1969 Lombardi a younger companion in that trophy case at Arrowhead, I believe that new car smell and shine has worn off, and the casual NFL fan no longer adores the Chiefs like they did before. And it's been made evident that after both Chris Jones and Tyreek Hill came out and spoke confidently about this team becoming a dynasty, and national sports talk show hosts crushed them for that, we see Patrick Mahomes being voted as the third best quarterback and fourth best overall player in the league.
What a joke!
By his own peers. Well, Shaggy, the Chiefs are the new villains of the NFL. Do you agree?
Hell yes. Hell yes. And I freaking accept it, and I wear that badge proudly.
Let's go.
Bring it. I don't give a damn for the bad guys. We don't cheat. We go out there and play our ass off. We go out there and get it done. If Tyreek Hill wants to talk about winning seven championships to 6 championships, I don't give a damn, because what Tyreek Hill is saying by talking dynasty, it pumps him up, because he knows he's raising the bar, that he has to live by these standards. He's like, all right, if I want to be freaking winning all these championships with this great team, I got to freaking come to work each and every day, every single day, and bust my ass to work out, to stay in shape, and make sure my entire team, as well as myself, is able to achieve this dynasty that we are in the talks of achieving.
Absolutely. Well, you've been someone who has unapologetically utilized your platform to speak out on racial and systemic injustice in our society.
Right.
And as our world continues to fight for equality and progression, we've seen a lot of changes take place, in particular in the world of sports. The Washington football team has literally changed their name to the Washington football team. Now, I know you and I have had our conversations in the past about the name change, why I believe it needed to be changed and so on. Shaggy, you've had some very strong opinions in regards to this entire situation. If you could, give the viewers and listeners a little bit of your take on the matter.
Specifically Washington?
Yeah, in particular with that one, yeah.
Well, in 1992, the Chiefs played the Redskins. I'm sorry, I know you don't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. No disrespect to anybody. I know we want to be politically correct. But November in 1992, the Washington Redskins came to Arrowhead Stadium to play the Kansas City Chiefs, and there was going to be a protest. Granted, most of the Native Americans that showed up were in support of the Washington Redskins and the Kansas City Chiefs. So the protest that was to be to protest both teams were in favor of both teams' names. So it kind of turned into a joke. Granted, that was 28 years ago. A lot of things have changed since November of 1992. But seeing it and knowing that there were a lot of Native Americans that were okay with the names, you know, I was okay with the names. But if you ask me, hey, Shaggy, what does Redskins mean? I'll be the first to say it is a derogatory remark made about Native Americans. And I understand why people are upset with it. But we have to also understand that when the Redskins took that name in 1938 or 1933, they weren't trying to upset Native Americans. They weren't trying to upset anybody in particular. But fast forward to the year 2020 and seeing everything we have gone through, from racial injustice to everything that's happened since then, I can understand why they're saying, hey, we've been concerned about this Washington Redskins name for quite some time. I myself wish, this is just me, I know I don't speak for you guys, I myself wish they would have called themselves the Washington Redskins one more year. That way they could have had kind of like a going away. This is the last year we'll be the Washington Redskins, so they can anticipate a changing of the name the next season. Because having it be called the Washington football team, it's kind of like, you don't want to laugh at it because they were forced to drop the name. You can't say, look, you're the Washington football team, because they were forced. They were like, you got to change your name. You got to get out of here. You got to change your name. So it's kind of hard to laugh at it. You just kind of look at it and go, man, I wish they would have kept the name one more year and then changed it in 2021.
I came out and stated on last week's show that I strongly believe that until Lamar Jackson can play at a high level in the playoffs, or win a playoff game, hell, just beat the Chiefs once, the Chiefs are the only true Super Bowl contender in the AFC. Am I wrong?
Gosh, the Baltimore is a distant second, but until Lamar Jackson can show that he can play in the postseason, you know, as Pat Mahomes Sr. tells Pat Mahomes Jr., or Pat Mahomes II every game, especially in the postseason. Big players make big plays in big-time games. Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Oh, my God, he's terrible. He's played 2 postseason games at home, and he's terrible. So that's the Chiefs' distant second. So I love the Chiefs' chances of being the team in the AFC, especially this year and moving forward, sure.
You know, you and I have had our varied opinions about Andy Reid as a head coach, and now that he's won a Super Bowl here in Kansas City, I think that our opinion has been strongly on the side that we wouldn't want anybody else here in Kansas City to lead this team. But the question now is, how long? And we've had Kent Swanson from Arrowhead Pride on the show recently, and I asked him the same question. I'm going to ask you, Shaggy. In my opinion, I think Andy Reid's going to be coaching this team until at least 2025, where I'm, I believe, 67 years old. How long do you foresee Andy Reid being the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs?
I'm going to agree with you right there. I know people are concerned because people say, well, Pete Carroll's coaching this way and Belichick's coaching. Pete Carroll's coaching this long and Belichick's coaching this long. Andy Reid's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Andy Reid's the best Kansas City Chiefs coach is the best coach Kansas City Chiefs have ever had. The win-loss record, the divisions, the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game, drafting Patrick Mahomes speaks volumes. That's why Andy Reid is the man. But I think the only thing that we've ever been negative to him on, and this is just us. People go back to our old podcast, our old YouTube page. Any criticism that we have ever had on Andy Reid was because of his loyalty to Bob Sutton and our feelings that we felt Patrick Mahomes should have been inserted his rookie season, because when Alex Smith was losing late in 2017, we were getting frustrated. We were like, okay, put Patrick in. And when we got to the AFC Championship game and lost, we knew that it was because of his loyalty to Bob Sutton. But that's in the past. It's done. Andy Reid made the necessary changes and is without a doubt, he's set up. Andy Reid is definitely set up for the next 5 years. And I hope and pray that we can keep at least Mike Caffrey, because I think Eric Bieniemy's gone. I think Bill O'Brien's going to get fired after this year. I'll stick to that prediction. And Eric Bieniemy is going to go to Houston with Deshaun Watson, and that scares me. Do I have an inkling on it happening? Do I have a source on that happening? Hell no. But I can see it happening. Yeah. I can see the Texans falling on their face and bringing in a freaking Eric Bieniemy, especially after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year again.
I like it a lot. I do agree with you in the fact that I do believe this is Bieniemy's last season in Kansas City. I actually have him going to the Jets after Adam Gase gets fired. Right. So that's going to be fun to watch out, though, because I agree, if Bieniemy gets his hands on Deshaun Watson, that can definitely be a dangerous little duo that we have in Houston, just south of us here in Kansas City. Right. And speaking of the NFL as a whole, you and I have talked a little bit in our own private times, but I want to ask you, Shaggy, what is your opinion on the 2020 season as a whole? Are you optimistic that we're going to have football this year, or do you think that there's a legitimate chance we don't see the Chiefs or any team play for that matter this season?
I'm concerned. I'm just going to tell you, I am concerned. We have a situation where people are dying. Hospitals are overfilling. I mean, every day we're averaging 2,000 more deaths a day. It's scary. And when you get players like Damian Williams, I mean, we're going to speak for the Chiefs here. We get players like Damian Williams and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif who are anxious to come back and be returned for their Super Bowl winning championship team, and they're opting out because we're dealing with a virus that is not good in America. Granted, everywhere else, Europe, it's getting better, and other countries is getting better, but it's out of control in America because we have bad leadership. I'm not going to get off on a political tangent here, but we know why we have bad leadership from the top. So it sucks. Moving forward, do I think we'll play? I hope so. I'm going to miss being at the home opener. I'm going to miss being in Tampa Bay. I was going to go to the Buccaneers game and see the Chiefs play in Tampa Bay on November 29th. That's some serious doubt. That sucks because the Chiefs only play in Tampa Bay once every 8 years. And I've been to Tampa Bay so many times. I went to their old stadium in 96, Raymond James in 2001. It's an amazing stadium. It's not Arrowhead, but it's still amazing. I love Tampa. It's my second home. So I'm quite pissed off that I'm not going to get to go to Tampa Bay this year and see my Chiefs play Tom Brady. But as for a season, man, I hope and pray we get it, brother. I hope and pray we get it.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't finish tonight's conversation off by asking you a very serious question.
What's up, brother?
Is the beard coming back? I mean,
No.
I know we're talking about the Chiefs run it back tour, but we really need to discuss the Shaggy Shane grow it back tour. Is it coming back?
I love the question, but no. It was a one-term beard, like our president. So it was I had it for 4 years. It was a 4-year beard, and that was it. You know, it was a beautiful ride. I got to color it a whole bunch and use some great Casey Beard Company stuff. Thank you, Lance. And but no, I'll probably stick it like this. That's it. It was a beautiful ride. We had some good beard fun, and that's about it, pal. I guarantee you, when you shave your beard, you'll feel the same way. I guarantee it.
Well, from a man who has the experience, I guess I'll just take your word for it, and we'll find out when that day comes, if it actually does come. But Shaggy, real quick, an additional question. Where can everybody find you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else, man?
Shaggy Shane on YouTube, Shaggy Shane Chiefs. You'll just put in Shaggy Shane Chiefs, and you'll find me. I have over 3,000 subscribers and followers, lovers, haters, spammers, screamers. And I'm not on Twitter that much. I know that kind of speaks for my age. I'm 50. I get on there sometimes. I see what you're saying and Ian Rappaport's saying and what Sammy Watkins is saying. But for the most part, I can't tweet every day. I guess it's my age, but I get on there and I tweet sometimes. But I'm on Facebook under Shane Williams, and that's where you can find me. And I will be back this season. Lord and pray. Hope and pray we get one, baby.
Well, that's our guy, Shaggy Shane Williams. If you're not following him already and you're following us, you're doing this wrong. You should be finding us after you've already found Shane, and he's the one leading you to us, so you're doing this backwards. But go find my guy, Shaggy Shane Williams. He's the best. I'm telling you guys, he is the OG Chiefs fan that you want to know. He's got all the stories. He's got incredible viewpoints. He's got incredible insight, and he's passionate, as you can clearly see. And I'm still holding out hope that one day he decides to grow that beard back. But until then, my guy Shaggy, hey, seriously, man, send my love to Tracy and the girls and the dogs, man. I love you guys. I appreciate you taking this time on your Friday night, and you are always welcome here on this show, man.
Love you guys. Thank you. Lance, you know you're my brother. Man, we've had so many freaking good times together. Hope it continues and this pandemic's gets cleared one day, and you're sitting in my studio or I'm sitting in yours. But until then, we will Zoom, baby.
That's right, brother. That's right. Thank you so much, Shane. Go Chiefs, baby. That's our guy, Shaggy Shane. Thank you so much again, guys. Follow him on all social media platforms. He says he doesn't tweet a lot, but when you're retweeting Sammy Watkins, you're doing good on Twitter. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, guys, Gat's got some chatting to do. She has some questions on her mind, and I cannot wait to answer those questions that she has for us. We'll get back to that after this.